I love this coming from a hair care professional because we'll see a lot of times on social media, people just trying to shove something down your throat, and then when you understand why they're doing it, it really makes you think twice. Is it really true or false? They're typically trying to sell us something. Okay, everybody, today I'm going to be talking about somebody on YouTube who focuses on hair care, and his YouTube channel is called the Blowout Professor. I believe it's him and his partner out of a salon in Florida. I have been watching him for a while. I love a lot of what he says because it is very practical, very sensical, and it is very much in alignment with what my stylist has been saying for years. Let's go through what I think are the Blowout Professor's top 10 tips. So I'm only choosing 10 because we all have busy lives. We can't be here all day. But let me start with number 1, which is something I truly believe in. And I have been doing this for years and years. And this is something, actually, all of these tips, I think you should incorporate them in your routine. And the first one is, he calls it shampoo soulmate. It's really finding a shampoo and conditioner that is the best for your specific hair type. And he is like me and really promotes professional products. When I say professional, I also have a parenthesis here, and because I live half the time in the EU, what I buy from the farmacia or the farmacia or the pharmacies there, in my opinion, are professional grade. They're just not marketed in that fashion. So I use a lot of products from Greece like Apivita and Gores that are phenomenal, that may or may not be considered professional grade in North America, but they certainly have impeccable ingredients. In North America, when I'm here working, specifically in Canada and the US, I love Pureology. I love number 4, High Performance. I also love Kevin Murphy and 11 Australia. But like I always say, it's not a one-size-fits-all formula. I believe the Blowout Professor has a questionnaire you can do somewhere on one of his sites where you can choose what's best for you. What I say is you can also do trial and error. I love Pureology. I started off with the purple, which is the super hydrate. I moved into the blue, which is the strength. So those are the 2 that I can recommend. And from number 4, I really like the hydrate line. I have not used the volume line. From Kevin Murphy, I love the angel hair. So remember, you need to use what works best for your hair type. Even people in my family, which I tell you guys a lot, yes, we're Mediterranean, but my hair, my skin is very different than my sister and my cousins. So we actually can't use the same products. So number 1, find the shampoo and conditioner that works for your hair. Number 2, and I definitely have this in common with the Blowout Professor, and I encourage you to include a deep conditioning hair mask into your routine. Frequency depends on your hair type and the stage you are in your hair care journey. I've talked about this a lot. He and I do agree on something when it comes to bond repairs. He loves the Olaplex 3 and so do I. For me, it's the OG, and I've been using it since it came out regularly. I actually just filmed a YouTube short about that, so you can watch that on my channel as well. I'll have all relevant links below. But deep hair conditioning mask. I mean, I like to do it probably every other wash, and sometimes I forego the conditioner, sometimes I don't, because it's not a one-size-fits-all solution. It depends on the product you're using. When I use the Olaplex 3, I wash it out, I do my shampoo conditioner, and if I use a very heavy hair mask like a Pureology, I can definitely forego the conditioner because it is so thick. In fact, here's a bonus tip for you. When you use Pureology Strength Care shampoo and conditioner, the conditioner is so thick and heavy, I feel like I never need a mask after I use that duo. Number 3, I love leave-in conditioners. In specific, I have been using Pureology for years and years and years. If you watch my videos, subscribe, or follow me, you may or may not know I was introduced to the Pureology products when I was a teenager from my hair care professional who works on movie sets, and I fell in love with the products then. I've been using the Pureology leave-in conditioner for years and years. I tried to swap it out for something else. Again, it is a little bit more expensive than your typical leave-in conditioners, but it is so phenomenal that I always go back to it. And it has one of my all-time favorite ingredients that we have in the Mediterranean diet, everybody. It actually has some olive oil fruit extract in it, and that is an antioxidant. So this specific leave-in conditioner, all leave-in conditioners recondition your hair and re-add that moisture after we come out of the shower. The Blowout Professor talks about this a lot on his channel. I'm a big believer in that. In fact, I've never gone without leave-in conditioner, like ever. I could not detangle my hair without it. And then also the nourishment that it gives us. It gives us brightening, antioxidants, a little bit of heat protection, but I would recommend a separate heat protector, soothing, and even a little bit of sunscreen in this product. You got to turn the bottle around, go through the ingredients, or just go to Insider Coder. That will break it all down. But excellent ingredients in this leave-in conditioner. And if you don't like this one, just try and get a very good quality leave-in conditioner. And I always say try to avoid a lot of the alcohols, especially when you see like an alcohol denat. Denat stands for denatured alcohol, but a cetyl alcohol will be, it's the moisturizing alcohol. That's okay. I would stay away from like an isopropyl alcohol. And then again, you want to stay away from all of the fillers in these products and look out for good quality ingredients. Like I mentioned, the moisturizing, anti-inflammatory, antibacterial, soothing, so on and so forth. Number 4, we love oil for the ends. Now, once again, I have been doing this for years and years, but been paying much closer attention to the way I use oil in the last few years, especially since I've gone through so many hair issues. Remember, we are oiling our ends because it's the oldest part of our hair. There are holes in the bottom. You want to seal in all that goodness. So I use a few different oils. I really like the Olaplex 7 oil, and I have seen the Blowout Professor talk about this one on his channel. It's a dry oil. You just tap the bottom and it comes out in drops, so it's super easy to use. I also like the Joico Blonde Life. I also like the Moroccan Light. And then my all-time favorite is the very natural cold pressed grapeseed oil. That, ladies and gentlemen, is one of my favorite oils ever. I use it as a pre-shampoo. I use it on my face. I use it all over my body. It's like an all-in-one. It has beautiful ingredients. So if you haven't checked out grapeseed oil, make sure it's cold pressed. Definitely do that. I can add the link on the bottom where I get mine from Amazon. So oil, yes, we have that in common with the Blowout Professor's channel. Next, number 5, the Blowout Professor talks about limiting your heat styling. And I love this coming from a hair care professional, because we'll see a lot of times on social media, people just trying to shove something down your throat. And then when you understand why they're doing it, it really makes you think twice. Is it really true or false? They're typically trying to sell us something. And this coming from a hair care professional who calls himself the Blowout Professor is pretty amazing, because he's telling you you don't need to heat style all the time and you need to leave a few days in between. The Blowout Professor also recommends a dedicated heat protector. I love this as well. And this is something that I can say that I really incorporated more so in my routine from him, and I did purchase a product that he recommended, and it's the Redken Big Blowout. I can highly recommend that, because I would just use my detangling products like my leave-in conditioners for heat protectors, because it's very misleading when marketing teams tell us that there's heat protection in here. But after I saw his videos on that and I started researching it, I definitely agree you need a dedicated heat protector. I just do usually like rough blow dries or blowouts. I've never used an iron actually, and I don't really use heat styling tools. So it's not as imperative for someone who has my type of lifestyle. But it's awesome to know this, because whenever you go to a salon professional, I always tell them after the detangler, please use a dedicated heat protector. I think it's really something very good to know. And I love the videos where they put the heat protectors to the test, because I'm not going to sit there and do that. Like, we're too busy to sit there and put all these heat protectors to the test. So I really appreciate that they've done that. So take it easy on the heat styling and use a dedicated heat protector. Very good tip. Number 6, I absolutely love this tip coming from a hair care professional. You don't need frequent trims. You may have grown up like me thinking that you need frequent trims for the length of your hair in order to maintain the length of your hair. But after I started realizing that it was those trims that was keeping my hair sort of stagnant at a certain length, and I personally started telling my hairstylist, don't cut it, and he would always make fun of me. You've been growing it for years and years and years. It turns out that, ladies and gentlemen, the frequent trims was keeping my hair at a certain length. And when I stopped doing those, and I started also doing different things, amongst those was not getting the frequent trims, and that's how I obtained my desired length, let's say waist length hair that was also healthy from root to tip. You can do trims when you want to, but you don't need to do 6-week, 8-week trims. When you start seeing the split ends and your hair is rough, uneven on the bottom, all you need are light dustings, and I definitely recommend them. You don't want to go around with split ends, and you don't want them to keep splitting, although how much they split up, that information is really undocumented. And the Blowout Professor actually said in one video, which I thought was quite humorous, he's never seen a split end in the middle of someone's hair. So they split. How much higher do they split? I don't think there's any real research or info on that. You do need trims. They don't need to be 6 or 8 weeks. They can be like 6 months, and they should be dustings. It maintains healthy ends so they don't split off and break off. Okay, so once you have a clean scalp, here's a bonus for you. Healthy ends, then your hair will grow longer. Grows faster, doesn't break off. Love this tip as well. It is gentle detangling, preferably using a wet brush. So I do use wet brushes, but additionally I use tangle teasers, and I actually have a video on my love for tangle teasers because they're very close to my heart, because they have helped me through a lot of times when my hair was really going through it. So I don't believe the Blowout Professor has shared his love on tangle teasers, but he does say that wet brushes are the way to go. And then I do believe he has a separate video on his favorite brushes. I will say that I agree with him when it comes to the wet brushes, but I also do love my tangle teasers, especially when I had the hair shedding issue. I really like the gentle one there. Really helped me get through those difficult hair times. I love the medium. I love the finisher. And then I also love the wet brushes. He also doesn't believe in wide tooth combs, but this is the only time I would dock the Blowout Professor like from having a perfect score. It's because he doesn't have hair. So no offense to you or your team. I know his partner has hair, but the thing is, when you have long textured hair and you are able to use a wide tooth coconut infused comb like I do, it really helps with the detangling before you get into the wet brushes and the tangle teaser. I would actually have this as a suggestion or an option instead of something that I think is a must. But once again, because my hair is so it is so prone to tangles, I really love my wide tooth coconut infused comb, and it doesn't rip the hair, because when I feel there's a knot, I stop and I really start to separate it. So his tips in general really have to do with the fact that you should be gentle, use the wet brushes because they have the bendable bristles. Okay, everybody, it's not about that name brand. He specifically talks about the bendable bristles, and he discusses that wide tooth combs can actually rip through the hair. They can if you use them incorrectly. I only use my wide tooth comb on wet hair when I'm separating big tangles. Textured hair, my dermatologist actually agreed with me when I have interviewed several doctors and dermatologists when I was going through very fragile times with my hair, and he liked that idea of just separating it in bulk and then going in with hairs and brushes. Remember, this is not a one size fits all. Nothing about hair is one size fits all. Take it with a grain of salt, but he does have the good tips on the combs and brushes. Number 8, and for somebody who doesn't have hair, good job on this one, Mr. Blowout Professor. He says to avoid tight hairstyles. What I'm guessing is he probably sees people pulling out their hair elastics in the salon. He actually has good tips on the hair elastics to use as well. Again, surprising since he doesn't have hair, but his partner has hair. So I'm guessing that's where he gets a lot of that information. But I can definitely say never ever use tight hairstyles. I saw a trailer for an episode of the Kardashians. Kourtney Kardashian had said that her stylist had created about this much hair loss, like the size of an American quarter, because of a tight ponytail. I never actually saw the dismantling of the ponytail or the creation of the ponytail. I'm assuming it was an external hair piece. I don't know anything about external hair pieces, but she actually went in for some PRP treatments on a trailer for the show. Now listen, being a television producer, I can tell you that a lot of things are manufactured for television with authentic reactions. That's what reality TV really is. However, I do not think that this was manufactured. I did see the spot and it was pretty horrific. If anybody has info on that, by the way, I would love to see that. So going back to what the Blowout Professor's channel says, avoid those tight hairstyles. They are absolutely detrimental, and make sure you use the right type of hair accessories. If you guys watch me or follow me, you know I have a huge love for the claw clips. I love keeping my hair up during the day when I'm working in very safe hairstyles. In fact, I have an entire video about safe hairstyles when you're working from home, and then obviously when you're sleeping. One of my favorites is the pineapple bun, and that is loose too. So loose hairstyles, fantastic tip. Okay, we're getting there. We are on number 9 of my favorite Blowout Professor YouTube channel tips, and that is protect your hair at all costs while you are sleeping. I personally love doing the satin pillow, and I also love doing the satin hair bonnet. Now, again, that depends how you want to look when you go to bed, if you're alone or not, because the bonnet really gives you a certain type of look. But I would say that my 3 favorite things are the satin pillow, the satin bonnet, and then I love doing the pineapple bun, which is a very high, very loose bun up here with a satin scrunchie. And you guys, I also love doing my braids. Again, this depends on the texture of your hair, the length of your hair, so on and so forth. But I really don't ever see anything wrong with the braids. Now, I will tell you this, when I wasn't doing my braids correctly, I would get a lot of tangles here in the back of my head. Again, my hair is very tangle prone, so you may not have this problem. So my recommendation here is, if you can, brush out your hair before you do the braid. Try to make the braid as neat as possible. And then what I do on top of that is I'll do my satin cap. Now, having a satin pillowcase also helps tremendously with that, because when I'm traveling for work, guys, I always bring my satin pillowcase. I wash it myself, and then I never use the pillowcases of a hotel room or an Airbnb. That's just a personal preference, but it's something so easy to travel with. So great tip on that. Protect your hair at all costs when you sleep to avoid breakage and tangles and just really fuzzy, messy hair, so it's easier to work with the next day. Okay, everybody, number 10. This is my absolute favorite. I have not seen the Blowout Professor produce a dedicated video about nutrition, but I have heard him say that vitamins and minerals are critical for luscious, beautiful hair, and I couldn't agree more. If you follow me, subscribe to me, you know that I'm all about that holistic type lifestyle, and I'm a huge advocate of the Mediterranean diet. Diet not in the typical westernized sense of a calorie deficit diet. Diet in the sense of a nutritional regimen. I have a separate video really outlining why I love and I swear by the Mediterranean diet. I have all my relevant links below. Following this specific diet really nourishes your hair, and it nourishes your hair from the inside out. I find that it gives you the perfect balance of healthy fats, vitamins, and minerals. And if you're looking to boost your hair growth, I don't think that you need an external source in the sense of a pill. I think that you can do it from healthy fats, vitamins, and minerals. I think that you can prevent breakage, increase hydration, and have a very healthy scalp. And in the end, I think that this diet or nutritional regimen is really your best investment for a long-term, amazing, shiny, luscious hair. And please watch those videos that I recommended if you want to learn more about the diet, because I've been interviewing professionals in the Mediterranean for over 7 years now, and I'm going to continue to do so as I prep for my 8th season. But nevertheless, I really do believe that it starts from the inside out, and I really appreciate that a hair care professional noted that as well. Okay, so that brings us to the end of this video, everybody. Inquiries, as always, welcome below. I will see you guys in the next video, and until then, have a beautiful day. Bisous.